I've been noticing that recently with my main channel. If you don't know, this is like the unfiltered part. Uh, this channel's name is just me basically saying like, there's no editing, there's no like script, there's no nothing. My main channel is like a calisthenics, like educational type thing. So I teach specifically younger guys, and now it's kind of branched out to people in general on how to actually like get bigger and stronger and learn the cool calisthenic skills. And I have a bunch of free stuff in there. I have a community based on it. I have a bunch of free guides where I talk about like different training modalities, all that kind of stuff. And I've noticed it recently. Well, not recently. It's been over 2 weeks now. I haven't uploaded on it. And I've been kind of coping to myself and saying like, oh, well, I'm just trying to figure out like what I want to upload. But when I started, I was doing 5 times a week for, I think I did it 3 weeks in a row. And then I switched to a more like even more educational style where it was like me get up in front of like my TV in my room and I would do like a presentation and I would explain everything in depth. And those videos got like super, super good, like analytics, like over the course of retention rate and like to dislike ratio and viewer to like ratio and how many people would subscribe from them and would actually join like my community. So they would get significantly less views, but they would get far more people to join the community and far more people to subscribe like per viewer. And it was really cool. But I figured that, or well, I've kind of learned recently that I haven't really enjoyed it. And I made another channel where if you just look up my name again, it'll be on, if you look up like Brandon Maloney, Calisthenics Day One, it's basically just me training. I'll go on, like, I'll give some knowledge, whatever. Day 1 and day 2 are up right now. I don't know if the other days are up. But it would just be me, and it would be like uncut. I'd add subtitles, like there'll be like 1 or 2 video cuts, and then on with the training, and then I'll give some insight, and then video ends. Or like anywhere between 30 and 50 minutes long. Not super long, not super short. And I enjoy that a lot more. And that's something that I want to stay consistent with. And this unfiltered channel, I don't plan on deleting ever because who gives a shit? It's an unfiltered channel. I've been wanting to change up the main one and go back into like that self-improvement mindset, kind of like training sphere. But my main concern is that so many people are in there that like it's going to become oversaturated, and well, it already is kind of oversaturated, but that if I ever want to make money with this, I'm not going to be able to because there are so many other programs out there. And that's the main goal with the education one, is to actually get like clients in, because how kind of the funnel works is, and if you don't know what a funnel is, just follow along. You'll probably understand it by the time that I'm done. But you make videos, those videos lead to like a free community plus like free PDFs and a bunch of free stuff. That free stuff in the future will lead to a paid community, which I haven't done yet because quite frankly, I don't have the money to afford a school subscription or a Kajabi subscription or whatever. That will lead to the paid community. And then after that will lead to coaching, which is like my high ticket, like a couple $100 like a month package, because it's based in scale with the community. So the community would probably be like 60, 70, 80 something, depending on like how much work I put into it. It's just, I haven't wanted to do calisthenics like as a topic, which is crazy because this is my entire life. My entire life is centered around training. But when it comes to actually talking about it and coming up with ideas that I think are interesting to people, a lot of it is just repeat over and over, and it's all so basic. Like, I made a video on how to improve your grip for pull-ups. I managed to talk for like 20 minutes about what a false grip is. You want to know what a false grip is? Grab over the bar. That's it. It would take in 5 seconds. But again, I had to go into detail because of education, and they clicked on it for that, and they want all the nuance and all that kind of stuff. And that, again, got like really good recognition. But at the same time, I don't really care. I'm finding it very hard to care on my, like, I don't know what to call it. On my, I'm just going to call it like my calisthenics channel. So I have an education one and a calisthenics one. The calisthenics one is where I post like the day 1, day 2, like the unfiltered workouts. The calisthenics channel, I'm getting people saying like, yeah, I motivated them to do their first push-up and they're starting to exercise today because they just so happen to see the video. And even on the educational one, the comments that I like getting the feedback from of me like inspiring people and saying like, hey man, you inspired me, like all that kind of stuff. Like conversations with these people, because I go in and I reply to basically everything. And someone will say like, whoa, good job, bro, keep it up. And this actually happened. And I was like, thanks, man, I see you in here a lot. Thanks for the support, because I just wanted to give like some recognition, whatever. And he said, yeah, every time I see like one of your short forms, your long forms, where like, you talk about your results, like it inspires me because we're similar in age, we're uh, uh, same goals, whatever. We didn't go that in detail. But it made me think like, I have gotten almost 40,000 people to see my face. And the majority of people don't comment on things. And it's been over 40,000 people across all platforms. Which is crazy to think about, just saying that out loud. That's the first time like I've had that thought. And I'm trying to explain to them how to do a fucking false grip or a semi-false grip. And why chalk is important. When I could be explaining to them things that translate to so many more aspects of life. When I could be going over mental topics, when I could be going over religious topics, when I could be going over genuinely like deep philosophical things, how to structure your life, how to find out what your goals are. And I'm fucking sitting here talking about, hey man, if you want to make your handstand slightly more straight, do this. I have a paper on my wall in my room basically saying like, and it's a bunch of text. It's like 2-3 paragraphs, but it's basically saying like, do it for the little guy, which if you don't know, just means do it for the people who look up to you. The background picture on my wall, the background picture on my laptop is saying, do it for the people who look up to you. And there are definitely people, even now, I'm fucking tiny, but I get messages all the time. On Instagram, on YouTube, through my community. And I want to do calisthenics. It's cool to talk about it. I'll definitely still talk about it. It's something I love doing. But I can contribute so much more to people than just, hey, if you want to get better at handstands, do this. Make sure your weighted dip is good before you train handstands, because then you'll have a stronger strength base. Like, I sound retarded. Do 4 sets instead of 3 because better strength gains. Ooh. Saying all this out loud, and that's the whole reason why I recorded this, because this is kind of like journaling for me. But saying this out loud really just makes me think like, wow, I've wasted a lot of people's time, and I've helped a lot of people, for sure. But I remember the good old days of my channel and like me being on YouTube. Originally, when I had first started like years ago with like my first ever channel, it was called The Gym Simplified. I don't know if you can still find it. It might even be my channel now, just I renamed it and changed the logo, because like the 50 subs that I had, I didn't want to restart. The Gym Simplified was just me going over my training. It would be like day 1, day 2, day 3, that type of content, like Sam Sulek type content. And I would go over everything, and like it would be a voiceover, and I'd make jokes throughout it, and people loved it. It'd be like, and I was a little kid then. I was like 13. maybe 14. And I wasn't jacked by any means. So people would see me and they'd go, oh, that's cool. If you can do it, I can do it. And even then, my purpose back then, if you look at the old videos, and I don't know if you could find it, there was one time I did something. It was a countdown. So it would go, there was a video title or a video thumbnail with a 5, a video thumbnail with a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1. So 5 separate videos, and then an ending one, so a 6th one, which is the big reveal. And every day it would go 5, and then the 4th one, it would go 5, 4, and then the 3rd one would go 5, 4, 3, and then it would continuously count down until it hit 0. And the final one was this big dramatic reveal, and I think a couple hundred people watched it. And again, for a channel with 30 subs, that's kind of crazy. And it was basically me saying I released a community. Here you go. And a couple people joined. Chatted with them, helped them with their training with the very limited knowledge that I had. It was run by me and my best friend at the time. I don't talk to him anymore. But that was way more purposeful for me, talking about that stuff, and just as many people watched. Honestly, if I were to have the same level of consistency, just as many people watched. And if I had to admit it, I could probably make similar or the same amount of money from it. Self-improvement is kind of dying. But if you just don't market it as self-improvement, if you market it as something else with a bunch of self-improvement topics, that is a niche in itself. So a new video title would be how to use meditation to increase your focus during workouts, how to use meditation to improve your skills training, how to use meditation to make your handstand push-up sessions go better. That's 3 videos. And with my autistic brain, who doesn't like repeating things, likes giving a new message each time, which I know you can't do forever. That's at least 1. And that's talking about something I care about. And if it's someone clicking on meditation, then they're more likely to be into that whole philosophical mindset thing. And I can talk about that. Something interesting to think about. And I hope this helps someone, or my voice is soothing or whatever. So if you're watching up to this point, then hopefully this gave you something to think about. Definitely gave me something to think about. Thank you for listening. The other day at school, we had done presentations for a big project, and our teacher picked 3 people, and it was 3 groups out of the class, but there were groups of 2. So if we have 20 people in our class, there were 10 groups. Some people did it solo also. And he picked presentations to show to the whole class as the best ones, and mine got picked out of 3 people. And I forgot what my point was with this, but I'm going to continue the story and see if I remember. But mine had got picked, and mine was the best by far, 100%. The content, my partner, Daniel, he had done a ton of research on it, and my job was just to present it. So I read over all the notes that he gave me. I turned it into a presentation. I presented it, and the only criticism that I got was it was looking back at the screen to read what was on it. Which, I mean, there's nothing I could do about that at the time. I was recording it on a phone like I am now, but whatever. But everybody else had got stopped in their pauses, well, now what could we do here, Rebecca? And Rebecca was not said the racial slur. And then it was just, it was the whole thing. And again, I forgot my point, but hopefully you can infer what my point was, because I don't remember. Maybe you're smart enough to know that, or maybe my point made no sense. All right. I think that's everything. This has been Brandon. Keep doing the best of doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.